Benavidez Morrell, who wins?
It's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a good fight. 50-50 fight.
And I think that it's going to be a war. In my eyes, I see it as a 50-50 fight.
These fighters, I think David Morrell may have needed, one or two more real tests before he really, build the resolve to be able to handle a guy with the ability, the power.
Boxing pros have revealed their picks for the upcoming David Benavidez versus David Morrell fight, and Sean Porter is backing Benavidez to overcome Morrell in their 12-round main event this Saturday, February the 1st, at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Porter shares a common perspective among Benavidez supporters, favoring Benavidez due to his deeper experience in the pro arena compared to the undefeated 11-0 Morrell. Porter believes Benavidez has the advantage over Morrell thanks to his tougher competition at 36 and
50-50 right there. If anything, 55-45 for Benavidez. I love David versus David. I love everything about the fight. The thing I feel that Benavidez has over Morrell is experience, is true strength. Both those guys are big guys, but I think Benavidez is more of the natural 175-pounder.
Yeah, Morrell's such a high-level technical fighter, but Jose mentioned what you just mentioned, they feel like the experience is gonna eventually show through. I don't know, take me into that, how experience can trump talent and technicality like that.
You know what? The thing that I know for this fight, with when you are in a competitive fight that's gonna go 12 rounds,
has passed his prime, and Canelo Alvarez has already defeated Caleb Plant, which makes Benavidez' victories over them less impressive and only highlight the uncertainty surrounding his skills. Moreover, Benavidez didn't look great in his June debut against Alexander Gvozdyk, where he was hurt by the more powerful opponent, ran out of gas, and showed little resilience. Porter described the fight as evenly matched, with a slight edge to Benavidez, whom he favors 55-45. He expressed excitement about the matchup, calling it a David versus David showdown and saying he loves everything about it. Porter went on to explain that Benavidez' experience and strength give him the edge. While both fighters are big, Porter believes Benavidez is more naturally suited for the 175-pound division. He also pointed out that Benavidez' experience in enduring tough challenges over 12 rounds will be key, something Morrell hasn't yet faced in the pros. Porter noted that Morrell's previous fight against Ravnia Khalid was a different kind of challenge, lacking the kind of resistance a competitive 12.
Man, how do you think Benavidez does? Your gym mate a week after you fight. How do you think that fight goes overall, man?
I think David, he's looking very good. I've been in the gym with him for the past few weeks, and he's been looking great shape, doing some amazing things in the ring. Like always, David's a monster. Yeah, it's gonna be a great fight, but I just feel like David is one of those guys too who's a monster and just doesn't let anyone take it from him. You know what I mean? And when he's in there, he's going in there for the kill. And of course, I feel like Morrell is maybe going to be.
Terrence Crawford jumping up from 154 to 168 and beating this quote-unquote version of Canelo Alvarez would diminish the accomplishment that Floyd Mayweather accomplished beating his version of Canelo Alvarez. Is it two different versions of Canelo Alvarez? And obviously, Canelo Alvarez is 62 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, 39 big wins by way of knockout. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He is obviously bigger. When Floyd fought him was at 152 catch weight, but it had no rehydration clause. So you might as well just say it was at 154. Now, two things they have in common is that Floyd Mayweather was 36, 37 years of age. Terrence Crawford is 37 years of age, going on 38. So he'll be 38 when he fights Canelo Alvarez. Floyd had already had 2 fights at 154. He had the fight with Miguel Cotto, and he had the fight with Oscar De La Hoya.
Porter points out that Morrell has yet to face an opponent who brings relentless pressure or matches the sheer size of someone like Benavidez. While Morrell comfortably handled Ravo Katic in his 175-pound debut last August, he wasn't pushed onto the back foot, the way Benavidez is expected to do this Saturday. Bravo may pack more power in single punches than Benavidez, but he didn't apply the same constant volume of pressure that the Mexican fighter plans to. If Benavidez rushes in recklessly, he could walk right into Morrell's sharp counters, or get folded by a well-placed body shot. Benavidez's debut at 175 pounds was underwhelming, more so than Morrell's performance against Alexander Gvozdyk on June 15, 2023. Benavidez ran out of steam after 8 rounds and found himself in serious trouble in the 12th when Gvozdyk rocked him in the final 30 seconds. Benavidez became little more than a stationary target, absorbing punishing combinations from the Ukrainian. Porter explained that while Benavidez is capable of matching Morrell in both power and speed, he can also box effectively with him. However, he believes this kind of resistance will test Morrell mentally, turning the fight into a roller coaster. Porter emphasized that Benavidez has been through these mental and physical challenges before, but Morrell has not. It's still unclear if Benavidez can go toe-to-toe with Morrell without hitting the canvas. Sure, he's traded shots with smaller, aging 168-pounders who padded his early record, but that approach fell apart at 175 against Gvozdyk. After getting rocked, Benavidez pointed to an injured hand, an excuse that seemed more like damage control than reality.
So they wanted to pull up. You know what I'm saying?
What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, I've never really spoke to Floyd before. I've met him half a dozen times, and we've sort of said hello and all that kind of stuff. But actually, he's a funny fucker. He is. And I'm single-handedly making Terence Crawford the most popular fighter in the world, because I am the only one that's ever brought out his personality. True or false? Right? And Terence is one of the top guys in the sport.
But even if he wasn't, you'd still say that because your business mind now is working and you're going,
I wouldn't say top. I might say top, but he's unbelievably humble. Let me give you an example. Terence Crawford is with Steve Nelson's team, okay? They are staying at a hotel, part of the Cosmopolitan Group, across the street, all right? Nice hotel.
Oh, my hotel, actually.
Yeah, okay. Nice, right, but you know, there are many more fancy hotels in Las Vegas, okay? He has a standard room there, and we said to him, listen, do you want us to get you he could go into any hotel in Vegas and get a palatial suite. And he said, no, I want to stay with Steve for the week in a standard room. Now, to some people, they might go, oh, big deal. You know what people are like. I don't know many people that would actually do that. Floyd definitely wouldn't do that. But Terence is probably one of the most humble fighters in his position of the sport. And do you know what I love about being in environments like that last night? The love for the sport. Like Terence is watching Shakur sparred. Shakur sparred 14 rounds. 14 4-minute rounds with 30-second breaks. And Terence and Floyd watched the entire spar. They then went to another ring and watched another.
Benavidez might get knocked out early, as Morrell has the ability to chip away at his granite-like head, as we saw in his fight with Gvozdyk. Benavidez absorbs headshots much better than body shots, a vulnerability linked to his love for food, which often causes significant weight gain between fights. Like many fighters with a long torso and fluctuating physique, his midsection remains a clear weak spot. Light heavyweight contender Adu Katic believes Morrell's path to victory lies in maintaining his composure through the first 6 to 8 rounds. Super middleweight contender Diego Pacho, who has sparred with Benavidez, expressed confidence that Benavidez would handle business on
A done deal. Terence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez. Early thoughts? What do you think?
Yeah, look, the first thought is, can he handle the weight jump? Can he handle the weight jump? He being Crawford against Medvedev, people are going to say, "Oh, he had some hiccups." Who don't have hiccups? When you eat something that's a little difficult to eat, and Medvedev was a little difficult to eat. He's not easy to digest. He's a good fighter. When you Sam, when you eat something that's a little tough to digest, you get hiccups, right? So come on, he's human. So he had a few hiccups. He won the fight. He's Terence Crawford. A lot of people say, "Oh, Teddy, you make him so good. You're always saying how great Crawford is." But who's he beating? He unified the. What was his first division? Lightweight. Then he unified the junior. Then he unified the junior junior welter, then he unified the welter. I think I got the weight classes right. It doesn't matter. He unified like 3 different weight classes. He moved up in weight. He's beaten anybody that they put in front of him. He beat an undefeated fighter in Errol Spence that everybody thought was just like, one of the best fighters out there, which he was. He was. He was one of the top fighters pound for pound out there, and he didn't just beat him. He dismantled him. He might have ruined him. We were talking about getting ruined in fights earlier. He might have ruined him. We don't know. He hasn't been back yet, Spence. He may have psychologically, physically ruined him. But he has done everything asked of him, and he's done it in a superb way. It's not that he's just won. I look at how people win. How versatile are they? How mentally together are they? What happens when they're tested? What happens when they have to make an adjustment? I look at all those things. What happens when they can't depend on power? What else do they have to depend on? I look at everything, their technique, their defense, their offense, all of it. And I look at Crawford as one of those special guys. I don't care if you guys...
When asked if he could see Benavidez defeating Morrell in 6 rounds, like his win over the smaller, older Demetrius Andrade in November 2023, Porter expressed that he favors Benavidez but isn't sure. He speculated it might take 8 or 9 rounds to secure a win against Morrell, given that Morrell is bigger, taller, and younger than Andrade. Porter clarified that although Morrell is the same height as Andrade, he is much stronger and possesses more physical advantages. He described the fight as one that will offer resistance from both ends, calling it a beautiful matchup. Benavidez will have a tough time securing a knockout without exposing himself to serious risk, whether it be getting stopped by Morrell or being outboxed. Benavidez cannot afford to approach this bout the same way he did against smaller, aging opponents in the super middleweight division. His 168-pound resume is paper-thin, not much better than Edgar Berlanga's. Meanwhile, Canelo Alvarez, who has previously fought both
the pound-for-pound #1 in the world, Terence Crawford, always making headlines these days. He's cemented his legacy. I think certified Hall of Famer whenever he wraps it up. Stepped up in weight, won another world title last time out. Now they're talking about this fight with Canelo Alvarez. It was interesting to see the comments from Canelo and how he sort of assessed Bud Crawford's career. I almost feel after the Spence fight that was like an exclamation point on everything he's done, maybe from the critics who never gave him credit, but it almost seems like Canelo was downplaying his achievements. What do you make of that? Is that to build a fight? Because it sells itself.
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. I think Crawford rebuttal was everybody always say he hasn't fought nobody, or everybody that he fought was a no name. But I'm gonna tell you like this: what Crawford said, well, they was something until Crawford fought him. So obviously he's doing a great job because he's making everybody look normal.
Not everyone, like when they go against Canelo, I don't think there's anyone else in boxing who you would ask and say this is a possible task for, but for Crawford, because of his pound for pound abilities, and apparently no rehydration clause. Am I hearing that right? He wants full smoke at that weight.
Let's go, man. That's what Crawford wants. He wants to show the world that he's the best. So, and why put stipulations in there when you know that you can be the best? So let's go test ourselves.
Look, I appreciate you taking this time. We don't get to speak all the time, so it's good to get you over here, and maybe we'll catch up later in fight week, but I appreciate you.
Benavidez and Morrell admits he's torn over who will win the light heavyweight showdown. Although the bookmakers are picking Benavidez to defeat the undefeated Cuban, Canelo believes the fight will be close, predicting a 50-50 contest. Canelo said it will be an exciting fight, and that he'll be watching closely. After failing to secure a bout with Canelo, who holds 3 of the 4 world titles at 168 pounds, Benavidez moved up to 175 pounds in June and triumphed over former world champion Alexander Gvozdyk in his debut at the weight. Morrell also made his 175-pound debut with a points win against Kadek in August. Olympic gold medalist Andy Cruz expects a knockout win for Morrell. He compared Morrell's relaxed and playful approach to the sport to his own, saying both fighters share a similar demeanor. Cruz believes Morrell will stay composed during the crucial first 6 to 8 rounds, leading to victory. As for the fans, many rally behind Benavidez, viewing him as a top-tier fighter. They would not take kindly to Morrell exposing him as a fraud. Benavidez's defeat would be a hard pill to swallow for fans, who have long considered him the top.
It's just a fluid situation. I don't think there's anything definitive one way or the other at this point. I mean, it's not a secret that that's a fight that's been discussed
by a lot of us and by a lot of people in the sport for quite a while. Certainly, it's a fight that Turki Al-Sheikh from Saudi Arabia has shown a lot of interest in. And of course, if it's going to get made, someone's going to have to put up a lot of guaranteed money. And he's probably the person that's going to do it. He's obviously been working closely with Terence Crawford. He was involved with the Terence Crawford's last fight that took place in August when he fought Israel Majumov. It's obviously a fight that Terence Crawford has been very vocal about wanting. Now, Canelo hasn't ever said he wanted the fight, kind of downplayed it to a certain degree. But it wasn't that long ago. I don't know, maybe a couple of months ago, he was doing an appearance and he was asked about it and he didn't close the door on it. In the past, he sort of like closed the door on it. It was like, I'm not interested. He's like, listen, I'll talk to anybody and listen to what they have to say about the deal, any kind of deal. So in my mind, that sort of at least cracked open the door to have the conversation. Like he wasn't just saying, forget it in terms of working with Turki or anybody else. So I think that Canelo is a smart person in terms of his boxing, but also in terms of his business. And when he looks around at the landscape and he wants to make a huge amount of money, like all top fighters or any fighter for that matter, and he looks and sees, who can I fight where I can